Next Wave Gaming.
What's up, guys? This is Scotch737 here, and also Jako Malfoy, the mid-laner from Thirst. Here for Next Wave Gaming, just giving y'all guys just a quick little ward video discussing where and why we place wards. And Jako.
Hey guys, I play mid lane. My name's Jako Malfoy. What's going on?
Alright, thanks, man. Appreciate you joining us for this.
Of course, of course.
So, when we start a match, usually we see a support, and, you know, depending, let's see, you're on the Chaos side. I'm sorry, I see blue. So, support on the Chaos side is usually going to go ward the blue buff, or does he usually ward while I'm pinging on the wrong side of the map for you?
Well, I mean, there's a few different ways teams can do it. I mean, sometimes support will go all the way to the right lane and ward somewhere for them, maybe even, because you could ward the speed buff or something like that. But yeah, generally you just kind of want to make sure that you know for sure that the enemy team isn't going to invade or anything. So, I mean, you could ward near, like, up here to make sure they're doing the mid harpies or whatnot, or even ward the blue buff, make sure they're doing that. Yeah, it just kind of depends. You can either have vision for yourself or vision to make sure, like, where the enemy team's going to be at, so you don't get level 1 invaded and died. Which is also, it's very dangerous to ward early on anyway. You can make sure your team's with you so you can get caught out and die that way as well.
Yeah, we know what support players who get picked on early, what that leads to, so that's not a good thing either. And that's something to take a note, you know, when a support does go and ward early, you know, the pathing that he takes does, you know, because you want to hug the walls, stay out of vision. And
right.
Generally, if I'm going to ward up here for these mid camps, the safest direction, I'm usually going to drop the ward somewhere around this area, right?
Right, yeah. I mean, you can even like drop these like over walls too, so you could be like over here and be able to drop a ward. So
stay cruising,
yeah, like you could be like over here and still be able to drop it.
Okay.
Like I'm like way over here and I could still drop this ward.
Okay.
I mean, you have pretty good distance on wards too, so you don't get to be like right there, like in the location to drop it too. So I mean,
right.
All positives.
And I guess usually the support, the first ward that he's going to drop on the actual duo side of the lane, which would be over here for you, right?
Yeah, usually defensive wards. I mean, you could kind of place it like up here, like near the fire giant. That kind of like covers that whole region, like right around this area.
All right, just like that. And y'all can see it on my mini map here.
Yeah, like if you ward here, you can still see like almost like any direction they can go. Like they can't go like behind that way. They can't really cross this way either. Like this pretty much covers like everything.
Right. Even if they try to go in front of the fire giant here.
Yeah, like it. Or just have a surprisingly large radius. They cover a lot more than you would think.
Okay. And since you're the mid laner, I know you've placed a few wards in your time.
That I have.
Can you show us where you place wards and maybe even explain the difference between an offensive and a defensive ward?
I mean, there's a few different ways you can place mid wards. It's usually in like both the sides. Like a defensive ward would just be placing one like right around this area, and then defensive wards you can place them like up here. And the reason why you can want to place wards like offensively like up here is just so that you can see like where the mid laner is going to go when they travel and all that. Like if they're going to rotate to a lane and whatnot, and make sure they're actually doing their red buff instead of rotating to a lane and killing people.
Right.
So it's really pretty much. In left lane or right lane, around the same area, you could place a ward to really see like where the mid lane are gonna go. That's usually an offensive ward though. Like you could potentially get caught out trying to place that ward by the jungler in mid and die. So you want to make sure you know where people are at and don't put yourself in a bad spot just to ward. People getting caught out while warding happens a lot. Usually it's the support, but it could happen to anybody.
Oh yeah. And like you're saying, you know, if y'all that are viewing, it's like I'm on his team. So,
right.
If I'm looking from this way, this is my mid lane, I'm going this direction. An offensive ward, let's say you're ahead. You place a ward around in this area here.
Watch for them cats and chicks.
When the mid laner comes out of mid lane, to either rotate to do mid harpies here, or if he's wanting to go over here and help out with his solo lane.
Yeah, another really good thing about mid wards in this area is if they rotate to do a buff and they come back in a lane, if you're positioned well in mid lane, you can poke them as they come in. Like, say the mid lane's coming back, I can just poke them like that when he tries to come in. So,
right.
So that's really getting like really good poke damage as they try to come back in the lane from getting a buff too. So that's another reason why those offensive wards are really good, getting good poke damage pretty much.
That's something I see from some of the top mid laners, such as yourself. Is just
Oh yeah.
every time somebody comes back into here,
Right, you gotta poke them.
yep, there's always a poke going on.
Yep.
Whether it's a raw beam over the wall or
Oh yeah, that is what it's all about. Getting that over the wall poke damage. Girl.
Alright, and I guess, you know, as far as solo goes, let's see, I gotta go back from your perspective here. Alright, so let's go over here to solo lane. I just saw you on my ward.
Darn that vision.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, you can turn that sound notification on and off now. It's pretty sweet. When they first started that, oh, that was everybody was doing that in assault matches. I remember just.
Oh yeah, all the ping noises, yeah.
Yeah. But all right, so the solo laner, he's over here,
Right.
and I better not step in there. I'll die. So, usually you got your defensive ward, which is somewhere in this area.
Right.
I like to put mine close to this wall just because it catches them a little bit earlier if they're coming this way and coming behind you.
Right.
But and if you're getting aggressed really hard or just camped, I'll throw one right here.
Right, yeah. I mean, of course you can't forget to place the ward inside the fire giant if there's like an enemy jungler that can go over walls like Thanatos and Thor and all that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So they try and like ult into the fire giant pit to try and get you where wards won't be. You'll be like, I got you.
Yeah. This right here's a classic spot for Thor to start his ult right here. Right here
Yep,
behind the
true
fire
that.
giant. So if you
True
just
that.
you can throw one right over the wall if you're outside. Just throw one right in here. A lot of times, you know, if the Thor's ahead, I'll get a sentry ward and throw in here because sometimes they'll try to counter you for that.
Yeah.
But if you're getting really aggressive and, you know, you're playing, let's say, Vamana, you know, somebody that's just really hard to kill and is going to get his farm regardless, I put a ward up here, you know, just to see when their blue buff comes up, you know, I'll have the timer for that.
Yeah, if you're hitting soul lane, you can do a few different things. You can even like take red buff from enemy team if you can really do that. I mean, if you're far ahead of soul lane, you can kind of do what you want, especially if we're playing when there's tanky gods like Vamana or something like that.
Yeah, I know last week specifically in the EU regionals, or not regionals, but the wildcards, the second week, we saw Aquila. Or Aquila? Yeah, Aquila. They were warding this red buff, like, and they had the timer down exact. I mean, they were here every time it spawned.
Yeah, it's not only a speed buff, man. If you can take farm from the enemy team, might as well take it.
Yep. And that red buff keeps the mid laner from, you know, having as much damage in the mid lane. And you know, before we start talking about Gold Fury, which we'll just head over there now. We can come back to the Fire Giant. That's usually the last place where wards are contended as far as match progression goes.
Especially early on, yeah.
But duo lane is pretty similar to the solo lane as far as defensive and offensive goes.
Yeah, like both the sides, you can pretty much place the wards like on the opposing side, and they'll still work.
Yep. Yeah, I like to place a lot right in here, just to catch that. You know, if the mid laner's getting kind of, you know, frisky and wants to keep rotating on you.
Yeah, you generally want to place the wards kind of like away from your lane so you can get like a bit of notice before they actually come in. You don't want to be alerted that an enemy's like coming in when he's like pretty much already in the lane.
Yeah, if you want to walk up, let's just stand over like right here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna show him what that looks like. All right, so Hebo just came into my vision. Let's say I'm the hunter. I'm over here in my duo lane. All right. Right there. I've got about I got a good, you know, let's say he throws down his wet paper. You know, I've got a good 2 or 3 seconds.
I got a lot of speed on my items too, though, so I'm moving pretty fast.
Yeah, that's an interesting build you got there.
A speed Hebo.
So, but, you know, it gives you ample time to retreat or, you know, maybe prepare to, you know, I'm not as good as the pro players. I'm not as good as hitting actives as fast as everybody else is.
I mean, you gotta have that, like, spidey instinct, too, you know? It's like, you know, I think someone's trying to gank me.
Yeah.
You gotta have that going, too.
Especially if the other hunter's just all up in your face for no reason.
Yeah, it really is one of those things. You can tell by someone's, like, position and how they're moving suddenly if you're about to get ganked or something like that, if they're trying to bait. Pretty much gotta see how someone acts in lane. If someone's acting scared the whole time and suddenly they're not scared anymore, you know, there's probably someone ganking you.
Yep, that's a good point.
Instead of being like, oh man, this hunter's finally gonna 1v1 me. Oh no, door's in the air, don't worry. Happens way too often.
Oh yeah. This right here is probably one of the first, most contested places, you know, besides mid-harpies, which are here, or, you know, your love camps. But the Gold Fury's pretty important. You know, usually, I forget the actual stats on it. But most of the time, the team that takes the Gold Fury first ends up winning. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
it can spiral out of control pretty fast.
Yeah.
Gold's important. People love gold.
I love the Witchstone effect.
Oh yeah. I got your number.
Even the Gold Fury's got it. So, but so usually what you'll see from a support here is he'll throw a sentry ward somewhere in this area. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the ring. You know, you can
right. I mean,
place
you can place it like right there, like beside the Gold Fury too, to make it kind of annoying to get rid of the ward.
Yeah,
people do that a lot. They like place it like a little bit like near the Gold Fury.
Yeah,
and then you pretty much have to auto it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's 3 auto attacks now. It takes to take out a ward. You can't do it with spells anymore. So, I mean, if you place it back here, you know, he's actually got to position himself to where he's not proccing the Gold Fury.
It can get pretty annoying. I've seen some things in my time.
And, you know, that's the reason I chose this guy. This right here is what Bacchus is known for. You know, let's say we know that the enemy, you know, they just got pretty much a team wipe on us, but I just have respawn and I've got time to get
yeah.
I can drop a ward somewhere in this location just to give me the vision. A sentry ward. Because, you know, if they have a sentry ward there, a regular ward's going to get blinded out. But, I mean, Bacchus is known for just being able to do this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even when people are doing objectives, they just, like, place a ward down there, and even if they see it, there's still some delay before they can actually kill it anyway, so, I mean...
Yeah. But, well, that pretty much covers this side of the map. And do you have anything that you want to add for the Gold Fury side? Anything in particular? Or?
Only thing I actually can really say is that it shouldn't be only the support buying wards, of course. Everybody on your team should be helping out, even with sentry wards. I mean, everyone just needs to kind of help out, and you really need to help your support when he's dropping wards as well. Like, it can be kind of dangerous to try and counter a sentry ward by yourself. You don't want to get rotated all doing that. There's just a lot of teamwork with the warding and helping people ward and making sure wards don't get cancelled and all that. Like, you don't want the enemy support to just roll up on Gold Fury for free and just take this sentry without like anything. He's like, yeah, well, another day smacking down wards, boys. Too easy.
Yeah, and you know, that's something you see most of the time late game, you know, where everybody's buying wards is, you know, somebody will come up here and drop $150, 150 gold, like, and then they back off, and here comes the support, and he's like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, seriously, yeah, that's the worst.
But usually, you know, we'll walk over here to the Fire Giant, and it's very similar to the Gold Fury. But the differences that we see is most of the Fire Giants, later game, people's more or less got their builds online.
Right.
And, you know, it drives me nuts sometimes, but you will see so much contention over this guy right here. Mm-hmm. And people, you know, they'll be dropping wards up in here. Let's say, you know, I'm the team that's trying to hold them off.
Right.
So you're my enemy here. I'm going to be throwing wards over this wall into the speed camp.
Yep.
I'm going to be throwing wards over here. You know, you'll even have other teammates throw wards over in this area just to make sure that the jungler, you know, like a Loki or something like that, is not coming in behind you. But you see so much contention, you know, because the Fire Giant's such a powerful buff. But as far as starting, you know, you'll see a sentry ward drop down around in this area somewhere, and then, you know, the solo laner, you know, in your case would be over here. Maybe drop another one to counter.
And of course, just like Gold Fury, you can drop a sentry near the Fire Giant and you can potentially try and hit the Fire Giant while trying to get a sentry ward too, so that's possible.
Yep.
Nothing like trying to get a ward, and next thing you know, there's lava spilling on the floor. Just update life.
Yep. But you know, one thing I want to point out, and Jacob, you know, hit on it. It's everybody's job to win. Wards win wars. Wards win smite matches.
Yeah, vision is where it's at, and you don't have to only place sentry wards on objectives, of course. Like, you can place sentry wards, but you don't want enemy team to have vision. Like, you generally want to place sentry wards, like either covering where you're going to rotate or things like that. Like, if you wanted safe rotates to the dual lane as a mid laner, you'd probably want to put a sentry ward like near the right of your tower where the dual lane's at. Because generally the mid laner might have a ward there. So you could sentry that, kill the ward, and then you can have pretty good rotates to the dual lane, because then the mid laner would be like, well, I mean, I don't have vision there, so he knows where he's going.
Yep. I've seen
So
a lot of guys do that. Like they'll even be like pushed under tower, and something's going on. Let's say over here in solo lane, and they'll walk right up here, or they'll be under here, throw a sentry ward right over the wall to cover up anything the enemy's got, and just waltz right on over after they clear the wave. It's yeah, counter warden is definitely part of it, and the sentry ward's what's going to kill like a regular ward. Kill the
Yeah, I've once had a soul laner come over here, drop a sentry ward, and kill one of my wards too. So I mean, I was like, well, not bad.
Nice. But
Not the day in the life.
if there's anything else you want to cover, let us know. That's about all I have as far as my perspective goes. We just wanted to give the general idea of where we put wards and why we put them there.
Yeah, and don't forget that warding is a team effort, so you really don't want to spend too much on the wards anyways. You don't want to set back your build too far because you're trying to spam wards. Vision's important, but don't kill your build trying to do it, of course.
That's it. Well, for us here at Next Wave Gaming, for myself, Scotch737, we just want to say thank you, Jako, for joining us for this video.
Hey, no problem, guys.
Look forward to next season seeing you guys back in action. I know you were consistently higher in our stats as a mid laner, so your play's right up there. And for all of you out there, wards win wars, and I appreciate it again.
Yeah, and have fun dropping wards. That's what it's all about. You gotta have fun doing it.
There you go. All right. For myself, Scotch737, and Next Wave Gaming, and for Jako, thanks so much for joining us. Comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see y'all guys soon.
See you guys.